Hey guys, how's everybody doing? Just watching the market. It looks like that number came out at 9 o'clock and didn't crater the market, so that's good. I don't know what number it was, but I was just watching him talk about that. What are you doing, Jackson? What's going on there, buddy? Oh, well, aren't you super sweet? Now, he's coming up and giving me love right now. He wants to be friends. He hasn't paid attention to me all morning. And now that here you go. Let me see you. Come here, Jackson. Let me see you. Let me see you. Look how pretty this boy is. All right, hang on. I got to feed him. I have to feed him, I should say. I forgot to put his food out before I started the live stream. I can't believe this market's still up. I guess it's just not going to go down. I guess we just don't go down anymore. I mean, if we make it through October it just goes up every day. It just, government shutdown, doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Just goes up every day. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see. I've got the screen shared. So let's go first to the market. Marcus, thanks for being here, bud. I appreciate you. All right. But yeah, look at this. Another day. ES is up a quarter point. NASDAQ is up 1 basis point. I know I clicked off of it before it loaded, but look at this. Well, that is beautiful. It is beautiful. This pullback reminded me of 2020, or the bounce back did, because I kept doubting it the whole way. Oh, it's, I kept doubting the bounce back, and it's just, nope. Heck, the bounce back from 2020 is kind of still going. I mean, it took a pause in 2022, but anyway, yeah, you can't slow this thing down. All right, so let's look. Bitcoin's been leading the way lately. It seems to have been a little bit ahead of the market in the turnaround, and so we'll see. Is Bitcoin are they going to falter here and leave behind a head and shoulders? I mean, you could probably call that a shoulder, and you could call that a head. If we were to falter here, and start going down next week, everyone would go, the top's in or whatever. But anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we take it out and turn where the head is 123 into support, turn resistance into support. We shall see. It may not happen all in one day, though. It could falter for a week or two first, but I mean, so who knows? All right. AMD's down today. Are you serious? AMD, what are you guys doing down? They still have this big open bullish gap. An AMD swing trade would be good. I mean, it'd be something you could do, and if it gets on the other side of 164, just take the trade off, because it's probably no good. In other words, at the gap, if it gets accepted on the other side of the gap. But heck, I mean, look at this time. It did that. If you would have done that trade, you would have bought 156 and never got on the other side of the gap. It went all the way, There's tons of examples of, in the bullish market, especially, of bullish gaps that work out. All right. Well, good job for AMD. All right. So let's go here to the, let's do something else. I'm already bored of this. I've been working on the lightning spread report, and I realize it still sucks. And I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. It's because, I do know why. It's because I'm not working hard enough on it. But this could be a really great report. Okay, so this is the worst spreadsheet ever, but this is the first trades. They had 5 days worth of trades. Then they declared their first dividend. It was 19 cents. They had made 37 cents. They declared a 19-cent dividend. That left them 18 cents left over. Well, just yesterday, they declared another dividend, because these guys are twice a week, and I believe it was also 19 cents. It's not yet on the spreadsheet, but that would make sense that they declared another 19 cents, because they had that much left in reserve from that first week. Okay. And so I bet you, but now they've been making additional money. They made 18 cents a share and then 12 cents a share since then. That's in addition to this 18 cents reservoir. Now the reservoir is gone. They've paid that out. And I bet you this will go to pay the next week's. And so far it's about 40 cents a week. So far in 2 days, we've earned, 30 of those cents. they weren't taking trades every day back here, but also they've been growing. That's the other thing. You have to look at their position size, and this is their positions over the days. They were worth 6.35 million, but they've been growing, and now they're worth 6.4 million. Anyway, they still have 75,000 shares outstanding, and they still, and their long position is 255 small contracts or 2.5 big contracts. A big contract in NDX is worth 2.35 million is how much a big contract's worth. So they have 2.5 big contracts, or about 6.395 million, because they have 55 small ones, but those are 100th the size. So it's, anyway, so that's their long position. They're long 2.5. All they're doing is they're shorting 2 every day, yesterday and today, because they were also long 2.5 yesterday and the day before. Okay. But they've just been shorting 2 because they've been selling 2 big options. So they have some of the portfolio, about a fifth of it, unencumbered to grow, to grow as much as it wants. I wish they would always do that. If they could probably make enough money to do that. I mean, who knows? That's where target funds come in and stuff, where they don't just try to make just as much as possible. And this is going to be a make as much as possible fund. So they probably aren't trying to leave the 55 left over. They're hoping that as they grow, they're going to be 3 contracts soon, and they'll start selling 3 big contracts. I don't think they're trying to leave some left over, but here, while they're still growing, it's kind of working out that way, right? Anyway, so I like to see that. But this sucks though. This chart sucks. And I did update this. This is the only good visual thing. But as of the day before yesterday, QYLD was up 1.36 since inception. Qs were up 85 cents. I don't know if we could do it this way. It's not QYLD. I say that every time. QLDY. Oh my God, I say that every time. Probably one of the worst, not really worst, but most primitive, most basic funds out there, with probably the least basic. QLDY, QQQ. Anyway, I'll get this chart caught up, but I think QLDY is still ahead of QQQs. This is saying 2.15 to 1.87. So 2.15 to 1.87. Okay, well it's a day ahead of us. So anyway, we're still ahead of them. I'll get that chart caught up. Okay, so that's the lightning spread. Part of the lightning spread is blocks. We study blocks every day anyway as part of the crypto quartet, right? So we're going to go over to the crypto quartet, but the lightning spread is something special the way they're doing it. And so we'll start with blocks. But I need to do a report every night that is just blocks and just the lightning spreads. But gosh, I need to do that. I need to start doing that next week. That'd be a popular report. Anyway, blocks is up today. Blocks is up today. The only thing that's down is Circle. I mean, so what are you going to do? I mean, they're in this Cypher. I told people to buy this one. I hope somebody bought this. Or I didn't tell people to buy it, but when I first started noticing it about, 2 months ago or a month ago, pop up on blocks and whatever, I posted. I mean, because if these guys are interested in it, it's probably something going on there, right? Especially when it's something you hadn't heard of and something new. I don't know when they put it in. I forget if they had it in before the last earnings. I want to say so, though. They've had this in for a month or so. And it's a good stock, and it's a will candidate also. You don't want to do a will because you don't want to cap your upside, but it's a good gravy train candidate, Max's will, or a half will candidate. Or it's not even it's a good stock to buy because it's cheap enough. But if you wanted to do the will on it, you could do the will. If you're a wheeler, I'm not a wheeler. You could do the will, and you could tell yourself, okay, if I get caught holding the bag, it's only $1,400, as opposed to doing the will on a $140 stock that drops 40 points or something, and you're holding the bag with $4,000. I mean, so that's when I say will candidate, I just mean kind of the math, but this kind of stock, you probably wouldn't want to do the will for sure, because the will's totally capped at every step. You could do Max's will where it's uncapped, but partially uncapped, but whatever. All right. But that's a beautiful looking stock. Okay, so let's go back here to the crypto quartet. All right, well, it looks like Blocks is in good shape. Let's look at Salty. I bet Salty's going to be hurting. All right, Salty's kind of messed up here. All right, there we go. So no way Salty's up 37 basis points. No way. And of course, it's not going to be. So let's go look over here. Salty is down 33 basis points. All right. I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, so we know that. That's not going to upset me. It's whatever. It's whatever. I just don't even understand where that comes from. Let me just try to see where that's coming from. Yeah, that's what Google Finance is saying. Google Finance, you guys are terrible sometimes. Let me hit refresh on this and see. Huh. Well, I just don't see if it had ever been up 37 bits today. I could see it. Like it was up 37 bits an hour ago, and this is a still quote. But Salty, you could tell by looking at the bar, it was never up. So maybe they're just pulling last night's price. It's a still quote, and it's last. I don't understand how Google can miss something that bad. But anyway, it's whatever. So we know Salty's not up, but continuing, so we don't know about the veracity of the rest of this information. Okay, well, now we got a flash. The Google overlords are hearing me. They monitor these networks. They have AI monitor this network, and they refresh their server because they saw that I was bitching about it. Why don't I have a Coke or a soda? I should have brought one in here before I started the show. All right. Well, it's whatever. All right. I'm done with Salty. Who cares about Salty? Looks like they have a good short on A-Lab. It's down 3.7, but heck, tomorrow it'll probably be up 10 points. Anyway, it's hard to short a market like this. That's just what's going on. The Salty's job is to try to short it. That's just what Salty does. So let's look at LFGY. Or no, let's look at Alti. Now, Alti's up, and I believe Alti's up. We don't even have to, I mean, yeah, that sounds perfect. Alti's up 27 basis points, and that would make sense because their average stock is up for the most part outside of Palantir and MicroStrategies. All right. So let's look at LFGY. Speaking of LFG, there's LFGY. Okay, so all right, so here's Alti. So Alti's up a little bit. Palantir, MicroStrategies, bullish in the firm are down. Everything else they're killing it on. Look at this QUBT. This one was well priced at one point, probably not anymore, but this one was one that just kind of came out of nowhere that was cheap. Got to watch out for those. Anyway, it's a great day to have some of that stock up 22%. Wow. All right. So Alti, that's Alti. Here's LFGY. LFGY is showing basically unchanged. They have a few of their stocks or their longs are having problems. Like they have a long in GME and Circle and Mercado Libre. I think is what Mercado Libre, I think is what that one's called or something like that. MicroStrategies. Anyway, okay. LFGY not doing as well as Alti. That's fine. That's fine with me. It's fine with me. And let's see if we've seen everything here. Yeah, I wanted to see Blocks. I mean, Blocks has Circle, but they just have a small amount of Circle. I love how geometric Blocks lays out their allocations. they're so intentional or whatever. I mean, it's just so perfect. Um, Biggest allocations are obviously crypto stuff, or I shouldn't say obviously, but the biggest allocation is about 30% Bitcoin, because these two are Bitcoin. Hold on. So 30% Bitcoin right now, 10% Ethereum, or about 11, 10 and a half, whatever. And then, so what is that? 30, 40 points. So then the rest of it, the other 2/3, like I always say, 60, 65% or something, is stocks in that industry. And they're on the right side of this one, CIFR. MicroStrategies is down, and so is Circle. But other than that, these guys are doing pretty well. Now let's go look at the chart of these. Well, that's the chart of Alti, setting a new all-time low. So you would expect blocks to be at a new all-time high, and it is. Let me turn this down. All right, and let's check blocks. Or I'm sorry, Alti. You'd expect it to be at an all-time high. It is kind of. LFGY, this thing sucks. I hope it's a 0. Now it's doing well too. Now that thing's been good for me. I should have got twice as much. I got it way back here. I mean, it went from 26 to 37. When you factor in the dividends, also just on a percentage basis, it was a huge gain. That was a good call. It was a good call to get in. But it didn't really have anything. It wasn't a call, really. The market just rallied. So anyway, all right. Well, let's go over here. So LFGY, have we checked out all of them? Salty, LFGY. Let's check out old GPTY. GPTY is a hedge fund style also. It's at all-time highs. Let's check out old SEPI. I typed in the wrong one. Look at SEPI. Wow. Does SEPI look as good as blocks? I mean, SEPI and block, because they're similar. And LFGY, SEPI blocks, LFGY, similar companies. SEPI looks better than LFGY to me. Those monthly options help with the NAV, the upside return. They don't inhibit it as much. The monthly option strategies, that less frequent buying and selling, 6 weeks, monthly, whatever, the tasty trade method. All right, so we've looked at the crypto quartet. We can look at the new max factor if you want. I just hit sort a little while ago, and this is on the main database. So this is as of this morning. Babo, TSLP, TS2. Look at TS2 right there behind TSLP. TSLP is the Tesla-based fund from Curb. Tesla, as you guys know, is on fire. So let's take a look at these. Let's take a look at this stuff really quick. Tesla's on fire, left behind a bullish gap that was unchallenged. It would have been a great swing trade. You always see these in hindsight, but really the swing trade was right here. They left behind this bullish gap, and it got into it a little bit the next day or two, but then, and that would have been a great swing trade. Ooh. Anyway, and they left behind another one here, so we'll see. It may be over now because they're up here close to the highs. We'll see. But yeah, this thing's been on fire lately. So we see which strategy, this is giving us a real-time look at which strategy's doing a better job handling it. We have TSLP in the last 90 days, which is Curve strategy, doing monthly options, gone from 18 to 24. And we have, at the same time, we have TS2 that's gone from 21 to 28 and a half or so. It's up 35%, but TSLP is up 33%. They both prioritize NAV, or they both get a lot of it. TS2 uses a little bit of leverage, and they only sell options on half the portfolio, so that helps. TSLP sells options on the whole portfolio, but because you go out a month, it doesn't have as bad of an effect on the NAV, because of it's the frequency that keeps the NAV capped. It's the everyday, but that's also what creates what creates higher distributions. They're able to pay you higher distributions if they take the everyday trade or the every week trade instead of the once a month trade. But anyway, we can see it working there. They're both good. They both have around the same yield. I mean, in this example, of course, Curve's doing a little better, but I mean, they're very comparable. I mean, to be fair, though, Curve's doing a little better, but TS2 is doing a little better on NAV. So just what you expect. Anyway, and then there's GDXY. GDXY is a monster. It went from 15 to almost 18. It's almost up, 17.3% in a quarter. And then we have Tesla, good old Tesla. Now it's kind of basic. Their strategy's basic. They aren't going to do any math tricks or whatever. They're just going to buy 100 shares of stock and selling out of the money covered call, tried and true method, except they selling out of the money covered call spread, but anyway, but they're going to be that. They're definitely the most basic, and they kind of get basic results, but they get more yield doing it that way. Oh, because they do a weekly. So they're the most basic, and they're also on repeat. And then we have TSLW also doing weekly. Even though they don't do options, they're doing weekly swaps and making weekly payments. So they're involved in the weekly infrastructure of weekly option market of Tesla in a similar manner. And so sure enough, TSLW, NAV return about 29%. That's wonderful. A lot better than TSLI. It's only up 10%, but it pays about a third. But anyway, you can see there's your choices right there. TSLP, TS2, TSLY, or TSLW. The W is from Roundhill, of course. And the Roundhill method's probably the least basic. They use swaps and leverage and but anyway, but it's all just different ways to try to get income off the same asset. They're all just trying to take income off Tesla's volatility. I don't care that Roundhill doesn't sell options themselves. They're still making money. The swap formula is figured off the IV. Their counterparty's paying them based on the IV. The counterparty's probably selling options. So they're in the same market regardless of what they're doing or not. In other words, if Tesla's IV went to zero, TSLW would do poorly also. The counterparty's not going to keep giving them money that I guarantee the counterparty selling options and giving them a portion of it, and that's part of their swap agreement. So anyway, but I mean, it is a good marketing plan because then they can say we're totally uncapped. We don't sell any options. And I guess that's true, but anyway, so is there any other Tesla ones right there? No, that looks like it. Okay, well, that's a pretty good review of the Max Factor. Hopefully you guys are watching this. You can see if your favorite stock was right there. Past Tesla, we have a bunch of gold and silver ones. We have Silvo, we have iGold, we have Gold I, we have IAUI. Those are the ones I'm kind of interested in because I need to redo that portion of my portfolio. But here's Triple QI that everybody loves. It's great fun in 35th place. It's doing a great job. I mean, it's doing a great job, but there's just on math wise, there's better ones out there. JEPQ also doing a great job, but math wise, not as good of a job as FEPI or Biggie or KQQQ is the main index one that's just killing it. Anyway, all right. But those are the good steady ones down there. JEPQ, Triple QI, then IWMI is a good one also. NVDW from Roundhill is a good one. SPY is a great one down here. Let's see what SPY has done for the past quarter. Gone from 51 to 52.5. 3.8%, paid an 11%. 11% yield. That's good. Here's XPay. Here's XPay. Went from 54 to 56, up 2%. 54 and a half to 50, almost 56, not even 56. So yeah, like up 2%, but it paid a 20% yield. GPIX is the steady ones are down here kind of mid-pack. They're just whatever. But anyway, all right. But it depends on what the market is. When the market really starts going bad, the steady ones start doing better compared to the other ones. In a runaway market, the steady ones drop because it's all about the single name. So not really an indicative of quality necessarily. Hey, Marcus, what is your deal? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, let's do that. Let's compare FIRS to T-Oak. Absolutely, I'll do that. I can do that. Let me just finish saying hi to everybody. Hey, JY, appreciate you for being here. Jonathan, appreciate you for being here. But anyway, did you guys see that? Does anyone have QLDY? Am I the only person? They announced another dividend yesterday morning, and I missed it, but it was the same. I think it was 19.2, or it was roughly basically the same. So, but if they pay 19 every time, it's 40 cents. If they do that twice a week, that comes to, like we figured that last week, at 35 or 40%. I mean, that would be wonderful. NVDW had a good payment announcement. That's great. We'll look at those two. We'll look at Jedi and TSLV as soon as I do Marcus's. Grateful. You're second in line. Ethan, thanks for being here, though. We're all gushing over blocks. We forgot about Wild. Oh my gosh. Wild doesn't pay a yield, so I can't get too wild about it. You have to focus on something. I should focus more than if I was smart, I would focus just on one thing, kind of like ETF Delta and ETF Inspector do. They focus on Alti and do it well. But you know me, I'm all over the map. I want to do everything. I want to do the max factor, but then I want to do option earnings trades. And then I want to do, Delta neutral stuff. I'm just kind of all over the map, but I think I'm trying to specialize in the lightning and in the hedge fund style. I think that's what I'm going to do. So that would be things like blocks, Alti, SEPI, the ones where they're actually actively trying to beat the market. Anything Howard has, KQQQ, moving and have the flexibility of a hedge fund where they're doing multiple positions. So anyway, that's my new specialty. You guys heard it here first. Anyway, let me look at these really quick. Okay, Marcus. Okay, FIRS and T-Oak. So I'm going to say it's not a great comparison. T-Oak is like guaranteed, and FIRS is like taking a shot. But T-Oak is like, let's just look. Let's just look. All right, so FIRS, but T-Oak is just like, it's like buying a CD or something, a lot better than buying a CD. Whereas FIRS can go up and down like the market can. Okay, but now having said that, it looks like FIRS was down maybe not even 5%. It's down maybe 3% in the April pullback based on this chart. Okay, so it is it's very safe, obviously, and it's done a lot better on the upside. I mean, that I was just trying to teach the theory of investment. My theory was Alti's risky, sure, but if you mix it with enough T-bills, you could do anything. You just mix it to your risk tolerance. But we wouldn't use T-bills. We just use T-Oak, or there's a jillion funds out there to do it with options. But that was my whole thing, is you mix something, even though it's super risky, you just mix it half and half with something that's not risky at all. You could do the same thing. We could do a half and half FIRS and Alti, and maybe that would be a better, or something, or an allocation like that. And maybe that would be a better way to go than with the T-Oak. Because with the T-Oak, when you do half and half on T-Oak, you're foregoing a lot of yield. T-Oak only makes 4%. So if you have half your portfolio making 4%, you've essentially got half your yielding portfolio making 2%. But if the other half can make 50% or 100, it kind of really doesn't matter at some point. Anyway, FIRS is probably a better pick than T-Oak. I'll try to do a 50-50 on Alti and FIRS and see how that would have done. That's a great topic. Marcus, thanks for bringing that up. All right, let me catch up with these other ones really quick. I'm glad Mike, that NVDW had a good one. Thoughts on Jedi? And well, I just love, because the world's going to hell in a handbasket, and Jedi profits off that. I mean, but that doesn't, just because something's a good, people are buying it a lot in the world, doesn't mean it's necessarily a good company. I mean, I realize it's not, but anyway, I just like the thought of Jedi. Jedi is the Defiance Fund that is making money on drone, robots, and war tech, drone war tech stuff. So, there's just the drone war tech's just a growth business, because you could combine AI with facial recognition, and then you can have, they probably do have drones that facial ID people and can find the bad guy and blow them up. Things like that. Those kinds of technologies, I would assume, are in Jedi. They just need to make a Jedi, GDY, and it could be the yielding version. And wouldn't that be awesome? I don't know. Some of those small drone companies may not have liquid enough of option markets yet, or whatever. But anyway, TSLV, I don't really know about. That's a Tesla derivative. I actually think I looked it up the other night, and they just get like extra long Tesla, right? I'm trying to think. I looked it up, and they're just leveraged Tesla. I think it's just. Anyway, well, tell me what it is in the comments. TSLV. I could have sworn I looked it up the other night. Azoria. Yeah, I did look this up. And I love, because it says convexity in it. They're just buying, it's just a fund that owns options in Tesla. So if you should get extra upside in Tesla. It's like, you should get extra upside in Tesla. I don't think it's going to pay a yield. So, extra upside in Tesla was not to like. If it was me and I wanted extra upside in Tesla, I would do this. I would go TS2, because that uses leverage, 105 to 150% daily leverage, a lot of leverage, and sells cover calls on half the portfolio. So you could get a little income. Or I would use TSLW, uses 20% weekly leverage, which isn't a lot of weekly leverage, but they do it on the whole portfolio. So it's a good plan also. On the other one, it's just long Tesla. I mean, if I wanted to just be long Tesla, I could just buy call spreads myself and everything too. So that ETF didn't do anything for me. But I can't do a leverage freaking swaps play. I can't do the stuff that these guys can do. So if I wanted to do that one, I would play it through TSLW or TS2 if I wanted to leverage Tesla, or just go get options. Just go get some swaps, or not swaps. Go get some leaps. But Wild's incredible. So real quick to refresh people on Wild, and I had a show about Wild. It doesn't pay a yield though. They just need to make a Wild, WLDY, a yielding Wild. Where is my FinViz window at? FinViz. I thought I just had it open. There it is. So they changed these things. You could put this in a hedge fund style. This is more like a quant hedge fund, because they do it once a month. It's a systematic. This is a systematic strategy. Somewhat, but they base theirs on social media and stuff. I mean, somebody needs to do this with one of these funds. Just double leverage the stocks that Alti, Blocks, SEPI, that the hedge fund ones are holding. OARC, or ARC is a hedge fund style ETF, or because they're in and out also. But just find the growth stocks from there, and like for instance, you would have been in CoreWeave, because of anyway. But this one right now, they picked the 5 hottest. Right now, they're 5 hottest for Palantir, Strategy, CoreWeave, NVIDIA, Coinbase. But they reallocate at the first of every month, and I think they just reallocated, because they didn't used to have CoreWeave in there. It used to be just kind of more of a basic lineup, NVIDIA, but CoreWeave has worked their way in there just this month, I believe. But let's see if that even makes sense. Like I say, they look at other stuff. They look at momentum, and social media mentions. And then they double leverage it, but no options. But yeah, this thing's incredible. Wild's absolutely incredible. Wild is what Feed and 5e were kind of hoping to be, or Feed and 5e are trying to do what Wild's doing, and Feed and 5e are selling options on it too, though. But they're picking the 5 best stocks in the universe according to data and according to stuff they're looking at. I guess let's go to the index buffer report. And I have one more to look at for Ethan. I think Ethan asked me about. I'll look at it, Ethan. Ethan I haven't seen you around here in a while, or as much. Hopefully you're busy. Hey, Mark, how are you doing? Grateful Trader. Oh, Jedi and TSLV. Okay, I did cover it. I didn't cover JY's question. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about real estate. Everyone, all you guys are asking me about real estate. So I just know I like the option selling strategy. So if I wanted exposure, I would just look at IYRI. Isn't there one or two other high yield or REIT-based funds? There's probably not that many. There's Renty. Here's what I would do. IYRI. I could never say that one. IYRI. I forget if Renty's is a target fund or if it's unconstricted. Whatever the sake is, whatever it is, they're getting murdered on freaking NAV. Renty, what are you guys doing? It's gone. Their NAV's gone. It's lost 40 cents. The other company as NAV has made $1.20 or something. I mean, not a huge deal, but yeah, I would. I just don't know much about the rental industry, but if you like the rental industry, I would look at one of these. Just as far as the high yield portfolio goes, I don't know about the rest of it, but so let's look. Hopefully IYRI pays a hell of a lot less, because that kind of excuses when you find one that looks like IYRI and pays more, it's breaking the no free money paradigm. I doubt this one is doing this. So let's look. This one paid $2.82 on $49. Well, it's a half a year, so we can double it. $5.60 on $50. So it's 13%. That's really nice though. That's a nice percentage. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Renty paid a little bit less actually. All right, so IYRI is breaking the no free money paradigm because they're catching more NAV and they're paying more yield. And there's some funds that do that, mainly the ones that do that routinely, mainly Alti and the ones that I talk about, the ones that are on the Max's Moxie ranking. But it still depends. They still need all of these need the market to go up. So I mean, as long as real estate keeps doing well, these presumably will both do well. But it looks like right now IYRI has a better mix of whatever they're doing. Maybe I need to do a video on that. There's just so many videos I need to do, and I keep putting them off, and I'm just so far behind. I haven't done anything this week. I mean, since the first. Oh, and I got over $100. You know how I was always telling you guys, I did a lot of videos. I did a clickbait video the last day. I said I dumped Yield Max. Like I said, somebody called me out on it, so I switched it to I sold some Yield Max. But anyway, you got to my total for the month finally came in. It takes a couple of days for them to tally everything up, and this is thanks to you guys watching those ads. I appreciate you guys having to sit through those stupid ads. I sit through them for other people's channels too. You have to. I sit here and watch. I mean, it's just part of the ecosystem. Or you can pay to have them turned off, which I've also done before. But it wasn't really because I cared about the ads. I just got YouTube TV for a couple of months, which is really good. YouTube TV is awesome. I got it last football season. And they turn off the ads as part of YouTube TV. You have YouTube Premium. So it's worth it to do it either way. But anyway, all right. So JY, you made the leap today and finally added GIX. Well, that's kind of how I feel this week about making the leap and finally adding blocks. I've been kind of scared to, just because I keep hesitating and the market keeps going up. Makes me mad. Good morning again, Mark. But congratulations on getting your GIAX. I understand that's a good fund. I mean, it is a good looking fund. Yeah, according, I guess so, Marcus. Government shutdown means invest more. This also tells you that the government really doesn't do that much. And what it also tells you is they have the system gamed, because this continuing resolution, not funding the government stuff, they still fund the stuff, still gets funded that needs to get funded. Ambulances are still running and stuff. It's a lot. So that's part of the problem also, is really they put anything that's truly essential, and the stuff that's not getting funded is stuff that I guess to a large degree, some of it is really not that essential, at least not over a couple of days. And, you go a couple of weeks and, you have a federal worker miss a paycheck. I'm not saying I'm not for it. Mark lives in Northern Virginia. We don't want all his friends there are federal workers or retired from the federal government. So he has a vested interest in there. But anyway, so hopefully they'll get it solved. I was just kind of making light of it. Best station out there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so I covered all the reviews. I'm trying to make sure I covered everything. Did we look at the index buffer? Did we ever do that? I don't think we did. Okay, feed and 5E up the most, down the most, not today. It's breaking the feed and 5E paradigm, but look at all blocks and LFGY. On this list, on the Q side, it usually is blocks and Alti up the most, down the most. But on the SPY side, it's usually feed and 5E. But sure enough, blocks and Alti today. And then we have Salty down a little bit. That's fine. YMAG pulling back a little bit, whatever. That's fine. Triple QT. So VR. Anyway, you guys can see over here in the IWM, Russell's kicking ass today. Look at this. And a lot of these Russell funds are doing well, not as well as the parent. Let's check out the yield max buffer report really quick. Palti's absolutely getting killed. Still showing buffer on the parent. They're all showing buffer on the parent outside of Google, which is outperforming the parent on the downside. Bad job, Google. You aren't supposed to do that. YMAG is also outperforming on the downside, outperforming the Qs on the downside because the Qs are up. So the YMAG shouldn't be down. Come on. Outperforming on the upside, we have Coney and SMCY. Outperforming on the upside is actually up when SMCI is down. So, okay, just trying to make sure I covered everything. Yeah, thank you, Grateful Trader, for the nice compliment. All right, well, I'm going to go. I need to make a video. I say that every day, and I never make a video. I have so many good ideas. I really want to make a video on distributable income. I want to do a thought piece on covered calls. It really looks into the reason, because I always say erosion's a highly nuanced topic, but it's easy to understand. You can look at it, you can understand exactly why a fund has a NAV problem or not. There's just two inputs to it. So I'm thinking about doing a thought. That's what I want to do, but they probably won't get any clicks. But that's kind of what I want to do. Anyway, but at noon today, or I think it's 11, I have a live stream with Ambassador Kwan. It's over on X. Maybe I'll simulcast it over to Twitter. That might be fun. Maybe I'll do that. And whatever. That might be fun. I'm probably bored today, so I'll probably do that. But anyway, so be here at 11 or not. Be there at 12. Yeah, the model portfolio. I just haven't lately. Here it is. QLDY is down 40 basis points. WPay is down 60 basis points. Come on, WPay. But look at blocks. It's up 1.2. Heck yes. TLTW, I dumped that. I dumped TLTW, which has actually done all right, to get some QLDY. And I also dumped something else. But anyway, there's LFGY up 1%. I'm all the way out of that though. So, but there's Alti up 70 basis points. 25% of the portfolio is in Alti. Probably need to de-risk a little bit from Alti. Take some money off the table. GDXY. Let's see what GDXY is doing. But no, I used to have a spreadsheet where I published it and we looked at every day how it's, and I want to get back to doing that. It's one of the many things I want to get back to doing. But lately we've just been looking at this occasionally. It just makes me mad how you can't do fractional shares. So there's so many of these that I have, less than one share of. So, but they just still accumulate. So you can wait till they get over one share and then sell them, and that's fine. But then you still have a little fraction. You guys still have a fractional share, and so we have all these positions to look at. I just, but most of them are just fractional shares. But anyway, so I do need to make something that makes this digestible and easy, and I want to be able to tell how much I'm up at any given time. I thought I'd been doing poorly, but I actually looked. I've actually been doing well, a lot better than I thought. I didn't realize how well that some of these had done. So anyway, it's kind of hard to keep up with it when it's on drip because it just drips back in, and because it drips back in, the price doesn't matter as much because it's adjusting your cost basis at all times. So then you get a rally and you're up a lot more than I didn't realize that, how well I'd done. So anyway, we got to keep this going into the end of the year. My goal is to be up 20% by the end of the year. That's my goal, is 20% every year. But I mean, we'll see. I'm trying to get double the market. So if you assume the market's 10, 20, I'd be happy with 15. But I'm trying, but we're also taking extra risk. So, I mean, but that's my goal. Anyway, we'll see. I mean, I'm at 8 as of yesterday. So if we keep rolling into the end of the year, maybe we'll see. But anyway, I'll make some better content on it. So yeah, your account thinks we should shut down the government every month. That's this week, but will your account still think that this time next Friday is what I'm wondering. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. It's wonderful. It also shows you the government makes the news because it's on Twitter and stuff, but the government has relatively less impact on the world economy than the politicians might give it credit for, because Apple and Nvidia are their own governments. They're bigger than some world governments. The Silicon Valley could be its own nation. They could, I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's so much freaking money that it's, anyway, but it's fun to follow it around. It's fun to see what all the big money folks are doing. It's kind of crazy. They used to say that our media was controlled by lefties, and it was. For years it was. I mean, but now we have the opposite problem, or not problem, but we have the opposite situation, opportunity, whatever you want to call it. But with Larry Ellison controlling CBS and TikTok, and Elon controlling Twitter, I'm not saying it's not it may be a good thing. It's a good thing. But I'm saying now we have that. In the next 20 years, it might be a thing. The damn media is controlled by the Republicans. That might become a thing. Where for 30 years, it was that damn media is controlled by the Democrats. So not anymore. Anyway, just a fascinating time to be alive. I'm not trying to get political, but I love politics. I love politics stuff. But anyway, but I wasn't trying to make any judgment on any party or the other, whatever. It's fun fact: California's money matches. Yeah. I mean, California is its own. I mean, that the economy of Silicon Valley, because it's not only the California economy, that's the world. I mean, when especially if you throw in Microsoft from Seattle, but you throw in Microsoft plus the companies in Silicon Valley, I guess you have to throw in Amazon from Seattle too. But that's like probably a fourth of the world's economy or something. It's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. Anyway, it's a great time to be alive. It's a great time to be trading these assets. It's fun to see what the next generation will be. It's probably going to be Palantir and things like Rocket Lab and AI, Pony AI and stuff like that. But it's awesome to see, right? All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I have to go prepare for my 11 o'clock Twitter thing. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to go do that right now, and I will talk to you later. Have a great, great morning. Go market. Dow's up nearly 1%. The Dow Jones, not that anyone ever listens to it, but the Dow Jones Industrial's up nearly 1%. Gold's up nearly 1%. Silver's up 3%. Heck yeah. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later.